Hi guys! Hope you're all doing great! Welcome to part 2 of the tutorial on how to work with the classic survival horror framework. Let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about in this part is something many of you have asked about. Items. In the last part, I already explained a bit about items, especially the key item and how we can use it to open doors. Now, we want to go deeper. We'll talk about how to place any kind of item in the game world, and more importantly, how to combine two items together. I know a lot of you have asked about this. I covered some of it in the documentation, but I felt it's better to explain more about it here in the video and actually show you the blueprint part, how this works under the hood. For example, inside the blueprint, I showed you how you can combine ammo with a pistol in your inventory. Also, how you can combine two green herbs that you place in the map. These are sample cases inside the code. This framework doesn't come with every possible item combination you might want. It's up to you to extend it and add your own combos. But the system is very flexible and easy to work with, so you can build whatever you want on top of it. So, let's get started. The first thing we need to do is open the blueprint folder. Go to the items folder and pick the item blueprint. Place it nicely where you want it. I've explained this many times before, but I'll say it again. The most important thing is to set up the facing detection collider properly. If this collider is misplaced, your character won't be able to pick up the item. Then you may think, what? It seems like a bug? But no, it's actually because the facing detection collider isn't set correctly. You may ask now, really? What's this collider for anyway? Well, it checks whether your character is facing the item or not. You don't want your character to pick up an item if their back is turned weirdly. They have to be looking at the item. We use a similar system for doors as well, so it's very important. Next, click on the item and check the interactable box. Make sure it's checked, or else the item won't be pickable. There's a part in the item section details panel some of you asked about. The code section. You don't need to worry about this part. The framework generates it automatically. The number of uses property is for keys. If you missed the last video, I recommend checking it out to understand how that works. Let's go through the item properties. First, give your item a name, like green herb. Then, you can add a description. After that, you can assign an icon to the item. Then, set the quantity usually 1, unless it's ammo or something stackable. Don't set it to 0. Here, decide if this item can be combined with others. For example, check the Can Be Combined box for green herb. Set the item type. We have an enum with different types you can use or add to as you want. You can also assign a mesh if you want it to appear in the world. No need to worry about the class for now. You can also assign a mesh if you want it to appear in the world. No need to worry about the class for now. There's an option called Is Storage Box. It's unchecked by default because items aren't in storage boxes. Item placement is important. If you want your item to be on the ground, set it to On Ground. If it's supposed to be on a surface, like a table, set it to On Surface. And if it will be placed inside a safe, check Inside Safe. If you put a specific item inside a safe, remember to uncheck the interactable box on the item. Next is collected name. This must be unique for every item. Why? Because when you pick up the item and save the game, the framework checks this name to know if the item was already collected, so it won't spawn again when you reload. You can't just copy-paste the same name for multiple items. You need to add a unique suffix like green herb 001, green herb 002, and so on. When you set everything up right and your facing detection collider works perfectly, you can pick up items smoothly, they'll go into your inventory, and you can move or combine them. Speaking of combining, let me show you how it works. I'll create another green herb, place it on the ground, and give it a unique name like green herb 002. Make sure the placement is correct so the pickup animation works well. Now, pick up both items and combine them in the inventory. You might wonder, where's the code for this? How does the combining system actually work? If you want to combine different items, say a lighter and gasoline, how do you do that? Well, go to the classic survival horror framework folder, then blueprints, then components, then find the inventory component. Most inventory-related functions are there, with clear names so you can understand what each function does. However, for combining specifically, go to Blueprints, UI, Inventory, Widget, WB Inventory. Inside this widget, look for the Select Action panel section. This section handles item movement and combining. In the combining part, there are two branches. One for items with different names, for example, lighter and gasoline. One for items with the same name but different unique codes, for example, 2 green herbs. The first branch handles combining items that aren't the same type but can combine logically. For example, weapon and ammo, or lighter and gasoline. The second branch checks items with the same name but different unique IDs, like green herbs. You can expand this logic by adding your own conditions and branches for whatever items you want to combine. Also, the system automatically stacks ammo. If you pick up 15 bullets and then 10 more, it merges them in your inventory, so the player doesn't have to do it manually. These two examples cover most use cases: keys, healing herbs, ammo, puzzles, etc. So I didn't come here to check this branch, but basically, you should use a branch or a switch to check if, for example, these items don't have the same codes, right? But their names are the same, like green herb. So when their names are green herb, what should happen? The green herb should mix for us. Since I only made one sample, I didn't add this branch. Now, whatever item you put in this environment, it comes here and gives us this. But here, you can add a branch and say if. So it connects to this. our branch checks the names. If both names, if the name of this one, selected slot, is green herb, and the name of slot 2 combine is the same, meaning both names are green herb, then we connect this to it. If both names are green herb, it gives us this, meaning do this. If both item names are green herb, come and build this for us. Otherwise, meaning if not, we come further down and add another branch. This part is up to you. Thinking it's a bit hard? No, believe me, it's actually easy. But if you still feel this part might be a little tiring because you have to add things manually, don't worry, I'm already thinking about making a DataTable for this. So you can easily combine different items without even having to dive into this part. So this feature will be added in future updates as well. All right, now let's talk about node items. We go into the blueprints folder, then the items folder, and grab the file item. For example, here, I want to place a note on the ground. Okay, so we put the note on the ground like this. After placing the note, the only thing we need to do is give the note a title. For example, this is a test note. You can write whatever you want inside. I'm just filling it with some random text for now. And again, the collected name must be unique. That's it. Now, hit play, come here, and pick up the note. You'll see it goes straight into the inventory. The first index will be the note's title, and the rest of the content will be the note's body. This note file system is exactly like classic Resident Evil 2, which I love. It's implemented just as smooth and polished as in that game. Now, let's talk about safes. Placing safes in the game is very simple. Go into Blueprints, Interaction, Safe. Grab the safe blueprint and place it where you want. Maybe it's better to put the safe on something solid, like a table or platform. But you can also put it directly on the ground if you want. Once placed, make sure all the colliders and boxes are properly set up for detection. Now, we need to set up 2 cameras for the safe, just like we did with the text interactions in the previous video. So, add a BP camera and position it exactly where you want. Then, click on the safe box and assign this camera to it. Next, set the safe's code. Right now, it's 0. You can set it to any number. So, you have to put an item inside the safe. Take the item you want, for example, the key we used in the previous tutorial. Uncheck its interactable box, because it will be stored inside the safe now. Drag and drop this item into the safe box, so it's inside the safe. Make sure the item is assigned to the safe. If you didn't assign a mesh to the key before, assign it now so it's visible inside the safe. Adjust its position so it looks right. Click on the safe box and don't forget to assign item inside. Now everything is set. Let's test the safe box. Hit play and enter the code on the keypad. For example, try the wrong code first. Now try the correct code. The safe opens and asks if you want to take the item. You can choose not to take it now and come back later. Or you can take it immediately by pressing the yes key. Once you take the item, you won't be able to interact with the safe anymore. All right, folks. That's our safe box system working smoothly and perfectly. We covered quite a few things in this part, but I don't want to make the video too long. In the next video, we'll dive into some more exciting features and cool stuff in the framework. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate your support. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.